The day that I retired, I thought the biggest things that I lost were my career, my income, and my contacts. But after a while, I realized that it was something much deeper than that. What I lost was the biggest thing was structure, the structure that had shaped my entire life. That's the loss that really turned my world upside down. Customers had needed me. Employees, well, they depended on me. There was always something to do, someone counting on me. My life had direction built right into it. I just never realized what that really meant to me. And then suddenly, when the economy collapsed, all of that vanished overnight, and the structure disappeared. And nobody told me how devastating that would feel. For a man who had spent decades being productive, being responsible, and consistently on the move, no longer being needed, well, that was a tough pill to swallow. I'd been so locked into the grind that I couldn't make the shift, and the emptiness was unnerving. There was just no urgency anymore, no pressure to perform or compete. There was just space, space to think, room to breathe, and I realized something. That huge loss of structure was like a door opening to my freedom. And not the exciting kind of freedom that young people usually imagine, but something much less flashy than that. It was a rhythm of my own making. But despite that realization, I still didn't fully realize what the loss of structure had done. Now, when we hear the word structure, we often think of things like calendars and clocks and maybe our commute. But that's just the surface. The real structure that I'm talking about is the framework that tells you who you are. It's having a built in sense of purpose that as soon as your feet hit the floor, you know what's coming. It's a feeling of being needed, of being essential to the world around you. For 50 years, that structure gave me an identity. It was, it was the water that I swam in. And when the pool was suddenly drained, there I was, standing at the bottom, looking around, wondering who the heck is Mel without a job to do. The days, well, they felt long and empty. No one was calling, and there were no deadlines anymore. There was no urgency. The rhythm that I had lived with for decades suddenly gone. And without that structure, well, the new freedom that I had just didn't feel free. And I felt adrift. And I kept making weak attempts to recreate the business that I had or something similar to it, to give me, to resurrect the man that I used to be. And I thought that was movement. But what it was just more drifting. I was trying to go back to who I was, the person that I no longer had any business being anymore. Now, I kept asking myself, what the heck do I do now? Who am I now? I felt unnecessary, like I had to prove something, like I had to prove myself to someone. Who that was, I had no idea. It felt it felt like I'd lost the part of me that knew where I belonged. Then came a kick in the pants. One evening, my son called me. And he began the conversation with an ordinary question. Hey, Dad, what'd you do today? Yeah, a conversation starter, right? But to me, it felt like Judgment Day. It was absolutely gut wrenching because what had I done today? And I thought, what had I been doing for months? Now, I don't know how I answered it. I probably said something lame, but I'll never forget how I felt at the end of that call. And suddenly I realized that I'd been scattered, scrambling, searching, trying to find my old self and bring him back. That simple question that my son asked me made me realize that I'd been running on a treadmill that wasn't even plugged in. Man. And 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 what I discovered that day, the one thing that became apparent to me was that I didn't have self-direction. It wasn't that I needed a new job or a new project or a new replacement identity. It's that I didn't have self direction. I didn't realize that I didn't need customers, I didn't need deadlines. My choices now finally belonged entirely to me. I had just been looking elsewhere. Maybe someone else knows what I should do or who I was. But now I was realizing that my choices belonged to me. What mattered now was what I wanted to build, what I wanted to learn, what I wanted to do with my days. And even now, I'm in the backyard, re-landscaping the whole thing. And whether it takes all day, all week, all month, doesn't matter. That's up to me. At 75, I've learned that if you don't choose your own path, the world is happy to choose one for you. It'll tell you to chase things that no longer matter to you. Or it'll tell you that your time is past and you might as well just slow down and fade away. Baloney. Now, I don't know where you are in your journey. You might be in your 50s or 60s. You might be right here where I am. But I wonder, is there a part of your life where right now you're still waiting for a script to be written for you, telling you what to do next? Maybe it's time to admit that you don't really need to climb every mountain, that it's perfectly fine to hang out at base camp, to take a breath and choose for yourself what matters to you right now. I'm Mel, and I'm still figuring things out day to day. And if you want to walk and talk with me through these chapters, I'd love the company. Let me know how life looks from where you're standing right now. And I'll talk to you in the comments. Thank you.